The following is brought to you by paulakers.net.
Day 1, 2-second lean Japan experience. Go Team Ireland. Team 37 wasted no time in getting into the spirit in Japan and mixing with the locals. We picked everyone up at the airport, then we had our brief opening meeting, and then we walked around the Shinto Temple and viewed this beautiful area right in the center of Tokyo. And we saw the children and we saw the beautiful architecture, and we walked up the main market street and we saw craft production and we saw mass production, and we just enjoyed the sights and sounds of this beautiful city on a beautiful day in February as we start day 1 of our 2-second lean Japan experience. And man, was it a beautiful day, and we had a great time. We had a great dinner. The boys even made it over to do some jiu-jitsu and mingle with the locals. That's the way to start your Japan study mission. Day 2, Team Ireland, Tokyo, Japan. We got up early in the morning and we rode the subway into the central part of the financial district of Tokyo. We saw some workers on the way in, and then we passed by some job sites. The highest building being built in all of Tokyo, an amazing job site. We sat down and we had a lecture from Mr. Yabe, but before we did that, we looked out the window of this amazing job site. I gave an opening talk, and Mr. Yabe then took us over to see the cleaning of the Shinkansen. Wow, what an amazing morning. We got to see all the implementation and kaizens that this team performed as they created the 7-minute miracle. We got some great photographs next to the Shinkansen, and we got to see the Tessei team members giving omotai nashi to all the customers, both in the way they treated the customers and the quality of the work they performed as they cleaned 100 seats per person as the trains kept coming and going. Amazing. Then we walked through Tokyo Station, then over to the Central Post Office, and then we went to a fabulous lunch. We got to look around, up the escalators, everybody on the left-hand side as we were supposed to. We had a great lunch, and then after lunch, we walked over to the Imperial Palace. We saw the koi, we saw the beautiful moat system, moat wall, moat wall, moat wall. We went over the Imperial Gardens. We walked through there. We saw where the shoguns used to live. We went through the samurai towers and guardhouses. What an afternoon. And then over to the building where MacArthur did the reconstruction for Japan in 1945. We sang happy birthday to Owen, and then off to the carpentry experience. What a crazy thing. The carpenters here, they just keep upping their game, teaching us how to sharpen their tools and keep everything in absolutely perfect condition. So when they planed the boards, it was better than sanding. It was absolutely flawless. And the most amazing thing is, then he showed how he sharpened the chisel, the dedication he put into making sure every chisel and every plane was absolutely flawless. He let us try his planes to see if we could perform at the same quality, paper-thin wood shavings. Such dedication to the way he sharpened that you could actually lift the stone up with just the suction that was created between a perfectly honed blade. And then it took a spin around the whole place to see all the organization, all the sweeping, sorting, and standardized he did everywhere, keeping his block planes perfectly organized, keeping his lumber perfectly organized, having trash recycling bins organized, his screws organized. Everything was done at the highest level, and all the guys got great pictures outside. Even the shoes were organized for coming inside and out. These people were over the top. We got some great pictures, said goodbye, and then we sang happy birthday to Owen as he walked out of MacArthur's building. Happy birthday, dear Owen. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Team Ireland, day 3, and it's flying by. And today we are flying because we are going on the Shinkansen to Nagoya. We woke up super early in the morning, got in the cabs by about 6:40, and off we went to Tokyo Station, and we caught the Shinkansen, a 100-minute ride at 200 miles an hour. And guess what? Mount Fuji was out in all its glory for us. We had beautiful weather, and the first stop was the Toyota Technic Museum, and we saw Sakichi Toyota's circular loom, and then we learned about the cotton processing and how Japan came to dominate the textile industry with Sakichi Toyota's small improvement to his mother's loom. By the tug on a string with flying a kite, he realized he could pass a shuttle from the left to the right with a simple flick of a foot, passing that shuttle quickly from left to right and improving the efficiency of his mother's loom dramatically. It is absolutely amazing, from that single improvement to Toyota dominating the loom industry and then selling his patents to the Platt brothers in the UK. Absolutely amazing. And then his son Kiichiro took that money and invested it in building the Toyota Motor Company. What an amazing story. And Kiichiro was a shop floor person, always on the shop floor, always on the Gemba. Kaizen, Kaizen, Kaizen every day, serving the customer. It was as clear as a bell that this was the passion of the Toyota family, serving the customer and improving the lives and quality of the people of Japan through the manufacturing excellence that Toyota came to develop. I toured through the entire museum and I saw the Model AA assembly line and the truck that was absolutely the most stunning thing I've ever seen, restored to perfection. And then a walk down memory lane looking at all the different Toyota cars, and especially some of the mainstays for Toyota, which was the Toyota Corolla. To even this day, it is one of the hottest cars ever made. And of course, the Lexus, the brand that changed the world and took over, and now the LFA, Lexus's ultimate sports car. There is nothing like this. And then I walked through the whole manufacturing area where they actually have working models of robots, welding, machining, drilling, tapping, stamping, everything you could imagine. This is one hell of a museum because everything works. You push a button and you can see the entire operation, from robots picking up panels to welding to pressing to stamping, you name it, it was all there. Imagine the learning laboratory this is for the Japanese children, because they come here by the droves to see and understand and appreciate what Toyota brought to Japan. Toyota put Japan on the map as the best manufacturer in the world, and indeed Toyota is one of the top companies in the world. Then off to Isuzu Steel, a tier 1, tier 2 supplier for Toyota. They process steel coils. We saw a single-minute exchange of die, went into their cafeteria and saw their display boards. And of course, we had to do the stretching that all Japanese children and companies do all across this amazing country. Out into the parking lot, we saw them loading and strapping down, and then over to Viva Homes, where we saw some of the cool Japanese tools on displays, from hammers, chisels, measuring, marking tools, clothing, you name it. The displays were unbelievable. They have the best of everything. And of course, they have the best pooches as well. And they were as cute as could be, only about $1,000 a piece. I could have taken them all home. They were so cute. We had a great time petting them and watching them. Then over to the bike department, great baskets, locking brakes, a quick wrap up. And man, Team 37 Ireland, we had an awesome day. Great job. Team Ireland, day 4, and we are rocking it out of the park in Nagoya. We start off early in the morning at 6 in the morning for just a few of you. 9 of you braved out in the cold to go to the fish market and watch these giant tunas be filleted up. And we saw all kinds of interesting things, from shelling the clams and the shellfish to filleting out the halibuts. And I caught the sunrise at Starbucks on the way in, and man, was it a day. We started off with a bang with Mr. Amazawa giving his talk about his time at Georgetown, as well as his career in Toyota. And then we stopped at the post office, and boy, was the post office on fire this morning. They were going through the checklist on all these little cars, and they were ready to go. And the guy was even reading in English. It was so amazing. They loved it, man. They loved it that we were there, and they were so encouraged that we were inspired by their work. We saw the motorcycles get ready and get all the mail going, and then run their obstacle course and do their checks and make sure everything was right on the money. And then we stopped by AVIX. AVIX, a world-class supplier to Toyota and Daihatsu, a tier 1, tier 2. We talked with the chairman of the board, and we had a great talk and a little bit of joking around about SDGs. Anyways, we said goodbye, and we were on to our next stop, which was Kura Sushi. Kura Sushi is Toyota Production System restaurant, and boy, is it amazing. So fast, everything gets delivered just in time, custom orders and everything. And then on to the school system, and there's nothing like a Japanese school, and the kids are so animated and so interesting and so hardworking and diligent. And we learned how they prepare the food and make sure everything is right on the money. And we had some breakout sessions with the principal and Dan, And wow, did we learn a lot from these kids who make it all look easy, from cleaning the schools to serving each other at lunch to making sure everything's in tip-top shape and very little direction from any of the adults. They just get right into it and they make it happen every day because they are nurtured and trained correctly to think about other people, getting along with other people, making friends, encouraging other people, and just basically doing the right thing. And Dan gave us so much insight. It's 30 years in Japan, living here and teaching English in this wonderful school. The Japanese school systems are like none other. And then we went to Asui, the looms factory, and wow, was this incredible. Sakichi Toyota came here over 100 years ago and spent 3 months setting up over 40 of his machines here. And today is the only remaining loom factory of the original machines that Sakichi had in all of Japan, and for that matter, all of the world. And we got to experience this. They're making material for kimonos, and it's absolutely beautiful. I slowed down some of the footage to kind of be able to see what was actually going on. But they design all this material themselves. They manufacture it from start to finish, and they sell it to very exclusive kimono shops in downtown Tokyo. But we got the great opportunity to go into their gift store, very small, very intimate, and buy some great stuff. So we got a great photo shot with everybody in this amazing factory. And it's just incredible how one or two people can manage all 40 of these machines with no problem at all. Asui, you are over the top. We stopped by a beautiful temple, saw some fabulous pine trees that have been nurtured for over 150 years to make these long, huge roofs, and then another temple over 600 years old. And Mr. Amazawa finished up his talk on his time at Georgetown and Toyota, and the kids, well, they were over the top. Mommy-san gives us a breakdown of everything that the kids do every day to make sure everything is perfect and they follow the standard. And of course, I had to get in my little jabs about SDG, and man, did we have a great day. Mr. Amazawa explains that Ono said to him, "Amazawa, we are not buying parts from our supplier. We are buying their process." Amazawa, if you can trust their processes, then inspection is not necessary. It's okay not to inspect if you can trust their processes. If you can't trust their process, then you must inspect 100%. Sample testing is inadequate. 100% inspection when you don't trust the process. Day 5, Team Ireland. Can you believe it is just flying by? We wake up early in the morning. We do our morning meeting on the bus. Brendan does some breathing, and before long, we're at the clean center of the incineration plant for Toyota. This place services about 435,000 families at about $100 a person. They dump all the garbage or the gomi into a great big pit. They pick it up, grind it, and then they put it in the 2 incinerators. The first one burning it up at about 500 degrees and the second one at 1,300 degrees. And there is nothing left. It is just an amazing operation. Even their kitchen is amazing. We waved goodbye to these great people who showed us this amazing operation, and we were on the road, and the next stop was Mifune. Mr. Umura and Mr. Amazawa gave us an opening talk about what we would see at Mifune, and before long, we were on the Gemba and we were seeing everything that was going on. This amazing tier 2 supplier to Toyota, making over 100 million parts a year with only 40 defects. But the most amazing thing is the die change. 5 dies changed with automation in under 5 minutes in perfect parts, the last part and the first part. Absolutely incredible, and they do it with such ease and grace. They don't even have to think twice about it. And of course, checking to make sure quality is always passed on. And we went out to the grocery store and we did our Yosh. We promised to only pick perfect parts and make no mistake. It was so awesome. We went to their Gemba boards and we saw who was working where and how many days they'd gone without mistakes. And then we saw Mr. Mura's EV along with the Lexuses, and then before long we were at the grocery store getting lunch, and everyone was navigating this amazing system that has flow. Nobody stands in a line because they check you out. And next we were on to the strawberry picking farm, and this place was over the top. We were eating strawberries like they were coming out of our ears. As many as we could eat in 15 minutes. I was done in 5 minutes. I gorged myself on these delicious strawberries and then onto the dojo to work all those calories off that we ate through lunch. And the dojo was amazing. The best thing was the engagement of the entire team here. Everybody worked diligently, practicing, understanding flow, connecting the work, and understanding how to sense all the senses, whether you're feeling, whether or not your sight was looking to the next station. Everybody was learning the processes that were necessary to create quality throughout the value stream. It was really an amazing process. I learned a lot. Hopefully everybody else learned a lot. It was really cool to do the rope boards as well as the pattern boards, as well as picking out 5 bolts at a time consistently, time after time. All this was timed to 10 seconds and 5-second intervals, depending upon what dojo you were working in. And then Mr. Amazawa gave an overview of everything we did and what we should have learned, and how Toyota looks at these processes of practicing at the dojo. Then we went on to Binsan Station, the most advanced and technical station in all of Mifune, and we built the actual spring and lever release mechanism in the seats in the van that Toyota produces. It's hard to believe they let us do this. We actually produced parts that would go into a Toyota vehicle. We were watched very carefully and trained to exacting standards of process. It was just amazing. What a day. All that in just one day, day 5, 2-second lean Japan study mission. Team Ireland, Team 37, the last day in Kyoto. Wow, what an epic journey we've been on. We start off the day by singing happy birthday to Mr. Amazawa. Amazing to have him along as our sensei. And the first stop is Ryo-Anji, the temple that Steve Jobs loved to come to, and the sand garden that he meditated at. And oh my gosh, how beautiful. And we even had a sun break when we were there, and the sun came through and washed over our face for just a few moments, to feel like, my gosh, God was speaking to us on this trip. I know he was speaking to me. I felt a new sense of energy being around you guys. You were at a whole different level. I couldn't believe how engaging you were, but how unruly you were. I had to tie you up like a rope sometimes, but then I finally gave up and I just let you go. I let the Irish spirit go. And man, did we have a day as we walked through the beautiful statue garden with Kitayama-san, who is one of the top landscape architects in the world. He's #1 in Kyoto, and he designs all the most famous gardens, including Ryo-Anji. He maintains and manages that. And Kitayama-san showed us all the different mosses. There are over 1,000 mosses. And then we were off to the beautiful Golden Pavilion. This is one of the most famous places in all of Kyoto. Over 20 kilos of gold to cover the Shogun's house. It was just beautiful. We had a beautiful weather. Look at the sun poke through. Got some great pictures, and we walked through the garden and we observed all the gardeners doing their wonderful work and attention to detail. And then we were off to the Silver Pavilion. Now this is one of my favorite places of all. The sand garden here is really spectacular. And again, Kitayama-san is involved in maintaining this beautiful, beautiful temple. And the moss here, crazy. Thousands of different species of moss. And this is one of the things that Kitayama-san is an expert at. And then Owen and Stephen had to leave early, and we waved goodbye to them. And then what? Kieran was a little late. We had to get him and chase him down. And next we are off to Nishiki market. Wow, that was incredible. And then we said goodbye to Adrian. We lost another one of our incredible team members. And then Kiyomi Zoo Temple, we went up the mountain. It took us 2 hours to go up there. We walked through this beautiful Edo period village and just enjoyed all the Japanese people doing their arts and crafts and the beautiful architecture and gardens all the way up, and all the beautiful women and men dressed in kimono all the way up. We took great pictures. It was just incredible. We even saw some weddings. We stopped by some other beautiful little Japanese gardens, and we saw things that were just so reminiscent of the past in Japan and what it would have been like to live in this amazing city that was the capital of Japan for over 1,000 years. And of course, Kieran got into it with all the girls in their kimonos, and he had such a good time. We stopped him and we engaged him and cavorted with them. And of course, the Irish, they don't mess around, man. When they have an opportunity, Kieran just seized the opportunity to get into the Japanese garb, and wow, it was just amazing. I think the Japanese were overwhelmed with the Irish spirit. Zero inhibitions to learn and engage the Japanese people. Yes, that was the Irish spirit for sure today. It was something. Of course, Tokyo legs, we never want to forget those. We had a great time with that. And as we approached the temple, we got up higher and higher, and it became more and more beautiful. Gosh, what a place. And we all rang the bell in the temple, and we observed again this tradition of walking up to the top of this mountain. We got some great photos on this fabulous balcony that looks out over Kyoto. Oh my gosh, what a way to end the day. And then we continued up the temple, and then we looked out over beautiful Kyoto. Wow, and up at the balcony and all the people and the hustle and bustle. And then we said goodbye to Luke. He had to get out a little bit early, and every one of us rang the bell in a symbol of learning what the Japanese wanted to teach us, and that is attention to detail, quality, precision. Kyoto, we love you. Japan, we love you, and we embrace everything you wanted to teach us. Thank you for this amazing journey.
Our last day, this is called Our Last Day, okay? Our last day in the land of the rising sun, a hell of a place that's taught us all a ton. From Dublin via Dubai, off we fly, 9,500 eastbound miles. Touchdown Tokyo, and in walks Paul, all mean and lean, with his mammy doll. Paul saying, mammy saying, Daniel saying, here. Radio check, mic check, can you all hear? Learn to count, dumb mix, what have I done? Trust in us Irish, Paul, we'll make this thing fun. Seat makers, energy guys, candlestick makers, we've got all sorts here, even two mad bakers. And off we set deep into Japan, just follow that strut, it's Mammy-san. Poke-yokes here and kanbans there, but they're never too busy for a Shinto prayer. That's because everything here runs like a Toto toilet, whereas back in the West our shit just spoils it. But let's not bash Ireland or be too hard. We've made a lot of good stuff in our own backyard. Tractors and tires in the Titanic too. Hell, we even split the atom just cause we could. But where we are today, they're on a different level. Continuous improvement is where they all revel. From Toyota's book, let's all take a leaf, so then we'll become the new Kaizen chiefs. We'll learn not to fear entering the dojo, where Mu'unai is taught, but shoes are a no-no. And we'll live in the Gemba, where the real shit goes down, where we murder Muda and Mura goes to drown. Because waste tastes crap and now fills us with dread, but value tastes good, like a loaf of Owen's bread. Yeah. So let's start channeling that spirit of Shackleton, the Irish son who got great things done. Here's turn. Let's have more Tierney Town, yes we can, and make our own little island the next Japan. Our own economic miracle for all to see, small but well formed like a bonsai tree. Our own samurai spirit, our warrior way, outbox a sumo on any given day. Japan faced its bombs, yet still it did rise. We faced our own, so don't be surprised. Our religions now seem so petty, so small, whereas Japan just takes the best of them all. They weave them together in a spiritual creed. That's how Sakichi's loom is religious indeed. You see, I'm joining dots, Paul, my curious mind. You may have underestimated our Celtic kind. At the Ryoanji temple, pebbles placed by hand, a pair of tweezers to move a grain of sand. We live our lives as I need, I want, I go. But Japan's a whole nation with zero ego. But never prattle on, especially in rhyme, so I'll wrap this up in a verse or two's time. Paul made a comment that's been in my head, that if these guys made guns, we'd all be dead. But there's one thing that'll get Paul's mind bent and curled, that if wars were fought with words, the Irish would rule the world.
By paulakers.net, where you'll find all Paul's books and lean resources for free, including the new 2-second lean play app, like Audible, but free. To listen to Lean is Lean on the 2-second lean play app at paulakers.net.